Happy New Year. Yes, I'm supposed to have done regular videos and we're already like, where are we, mid-January. So yeah, doing well there, but very busy as usual. So apologies. If you remember, I had gone to Bristol to see my brother and I took the opportunity to do some videos while I was there. And so one of them was to go and see Hannah, who lives in Stokes Croft. And while I was walking through Stokes Croft, I thought, hold on a minute, I should be doing a video of this, talking about, you know, the studios to work there, the area, a little bit about it. So I put this together, and I apologize, it was done on my bad phone, and I'm walking around with a phone talking into it, I find pretty weird, but I managed to do it. I know it's a lot of YouTubers do that now and stuff with things on sticks and stuff. Stokes Croft, really amazing area. And so I did this video with Hannah there, and that's going to be coming up in the next day or two. Really pleased with it. So really looking forward to putting that out. Anyway, here's the short bit of this section in Stokes Croft. Enjoy it. Yeah, so this area, Bristol, which is called Stokes Croft, is very popular now. It's like a tending sort of gentrified area. But when I worked here, it wasn't like that really. It's on the edge of St. Paul's, so that's, you know, the reggae connection that created drum and bass and jungle. And the tower blocks are still here. Right, when I'm walking down towards King Square, which is where the studio used to be, where I first started sort of my more professional career in recording, and it's coming up to the studio now, which I see is still being used by Static. Actually, it's called Static Studios. I'll show you, which is Andy was in the band Static Sound System, and they still obviously using the unit for their own studio now, but it was called PIJ when I worked there. Here we are. That was the door. You could see. So yeah, this is King Square. This is where all the bands and everyone met, really. There were rehearsal rooms in there as well. So it was a real hub for musicians, and a lot of creative stuff happened there, including the beginning of Alpha. So there we go. Down here is a pub called The Bell, which is where lots of musicians would hang out. So the Bell pub, that's like, you know, it started out at the Brilliant Corners. We'd use it a lot, and it was just around the corner from the studio, so there's always a lot of characters in there, and still are. Obviously it became infamous with Banksy doing his works here, as well as a lot of other artists. Goodness, there's lots of it. There was a kebab shop over there, where like a pie shop, they'd be open till like 3 in the morning, so after recording sessions or during recording sessions I'd go in there to get my dinner. This little patch of tarmac here is well known as well for having fires on for years. Homeless people, and they've tarmacked it over. My wife Sam, she had a job in that building there. Awful place, horrible building. Here's a very famous place I used to eat at, called Slicks. Hasn't changed at all in like 20 years. Did the biggest chicken sandwich ever. So yeah, down here, this club. A lot of indie bands played this. It was on the circuit. Saw a lot of bands in here. Played here a lot. Yeah, this was the entrance here. Absolutely derelict. It's gone. There's nothing behind it. Unbelievable. Well, those buildings in there was the actual venue. It had a really good turbo PA sound system. I used to actually get in for free by pretending I was playing in the band, and I'd arrive with my drum pedal, going, oh, you know, I forgot my drum pad. I'm on stage in half an hour. And they go, all right, yeah, go on, in you go. Yeah, Andy's flat was the blue building. He lived in the basement. I think it was that one, or was it? Maybe it was the white one actually. He had his equipment in there, and that's where we started doing a lot of the tunes actually. In I'm trying to remember the number. I think it was 153. Oop. Used to go around there. That's where we started the very first tunes, as well as at PIJ, because they're quite close together. So I'd wander over from the studio sometimes. Yeah, this is it here. In the basement in there. So still in Stokes Croft, walking towards St Paul's. Used to come down here to borrow equipment from a band called Smith and Mighty, particularly a guy called Rob Smith. And it was along here they had a studio called Three Stripe, and it was in one of these buildings here. You could never get a hold of them, so you used to have to throw stones up at the window to get their attention, right? And it was, I remember once going into that studio and Rob Smith, oh, listen to what I'm working on here. I've got these beats in my sampler, and he was playing on the beats on the keyboard, but he was playing them up further up the keyboard, so they were playing back fast, so you're getting that fast drum and bass, you know, the drums, and they're speeded up. And that was the first time I'd heard drum and bass. Yeah, it was one of those. It was one of these rooms above those shops there, which I think is like where drum and bass started. Unbelievable. And then I also worked in. Remember once, the house opposite here, we moved an entire recording studio and a huge 24-track machine into the room opposite to record albums there.